It's been a while since we tackled a carousel, so as usual, I decided to dive into Awwwards for some inspiration. That's when I stumbled across this website with an image slider that really stood out. It's got everything: animated clip paths, smooth rotations, new slides generating based on direction, an eye-catching title animation with split letters, a sleek active slide indicator with name and counter, and even a smooth background preview animation. After about 6 to 7 hours of figuring things out, I managed to recreate it using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and GSAP. It took some effort, but I was able to incorporate all the key animations from the original website. In this video, which might be a bit longer, I'll walk you through building this content carousel using basic JavaScript and GSAP. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel, and maybe even a like would mean a lot to help the content reach more people. And for those who want to dive straight into building stuff and skip watching the long videos, you can unlock access to all these projects for the price of a latte through the link in the description. Now, without further delay, let's jump into the code. Let's kick things off by adding a simple navigation bar with a couple of placeholder links. Next up, we'll create the main slider structure. I'll begin by setting up 3 slide containers. The first one on the left will represent the previous slide, the center will hold the active slide, and the one on the right will display the next slide in sequence. Inside each of these containers, there is a div with the class name slideImage, and we'll place an image inside each of them. On page load, the previous container will show the 7th image, the active one will display the first image, and the next slide container will hold the second image, giving us a right order for transition later. Now I will add a title for the active slide by creating an h1 element inside a div with the class name sliderTitle. Following that, I'll include a counter to indicate the current slide's position in the carousel. Next, I'll create a section for the slide names by adding 7 paragraph elements inside a div with the class sliderItems. The first item will have the class activeItem, which we'll use to highlight the active slide as we move through the carousel. For the finishing touch, there is a slider preview section with an image that will animate in the background as part of the carousel's visual effects. Finally, to balance the layout, I'll add a footer with a couple of placeholder paragraphs to round everything out. And that wraps up the HTML setup. Now let's dive into the styling. First, we reset the default margins, paddings, and box sizing for all elements using the universal selector. For the HTML and body, we set the width and height to 100% and apply a slick dark background with a font from the new Montreal family. The text color is set to white. Next, for all paragraphs and links, we remove any text decoration, adjust the font size to 13 pixels, and make the text uppercase with a light gray color. Moving on to the images, we ensure they fully cover their containers by setting the width and height to 100% and use object fit cover to maintain the aspect ratio. The navigation bar is styled to be absolutely positioned, spanning the full width of the page with padding for spacing and z-index of 100 to keep it above everything else. We also align the items in the nav using flexbox for a clean layout. For the logo, we apply a bold font and large font size, ensuring it stands out. Now let's style the slider. The slider takes up the entire 100 viewport width and 100 viewport height, and we hide any overflow to prevent any unwanted scrolling. Each slider container is absolutely positioned with a set width and height and centered using the transform technique. We also add a black background and pointer cursor to make it interactive, along with the will change properties for smooth animations. Inside the slide container, we place the images, which are scaled to 1.5 times their original size and given a slight opacity for a faded look. The title of the slider is centered both horizontally and vertically, with the text wrapped inside an H1. We use a clip path animation for the title, and the text itself is large, bold, and in white to stand out against the background. To animate the title letters individually, each span inside the H1 is given a translate Y transformation, preparing them for smooth transitions. For the sliders counter, we position it at the bottom center of the screen, displaying the active slide number with some spacing between the numbers. In the slider item section, each slide name is styled as a paragraph. The active slide's name is highlighted by changing its color to white, while the other ones remain grey. The slider preview section is positioned above the slider, containing an image that will smoothly animate across the background using a keyframe animation called pan. The image zooms in and out continuously to create a subtle background movement effect. Lastly, the footer is stuck neatly in the bottom right corner, containing a couple of placeholder paragraphs. For responsiveness, we ensure the layout adapts on smaller screens. When the width is below 900 pixels, the slide containers shrink and reposition for a better mobile experience, and the slider preview expands to fill the entire width. That wraps up the CSS. Let's move on to the animations with GSAP next. First, we wait for the DOM to fully load, and then we register the custom ease plugin from GSAP to create a custom easing function called hop. These custom ease will control how the animations flow smoothly. Next, we target key elements like the slider, the title, the counter, and the preview sections from our HTML and initialize some essential variables. The slider will have a total of 7 slides, and we'll use a variable active slide index to keep track of the current active slide. To ensure smooth transitions, we also introduce a flag is animating to prevent multiple animations from overlapping. We then define the content of each slide, storing the slide name and image path inside an array called slider content. For the animations, we'll be using clip path to define both the open and close states of each slide. We also define the positions for the previous, active and next slides, along with rotation values, which will be crucial for positioning the slides during the transitions. Now we split the title into individual spans so that each letter can be animated independently. This will allow us to create a dynamic staggered animation effect for the slide titles. Next, we create a function to handle the slide titles, where we dynamically generate the title content, split it into spans, and animate each letter's vertical position using GSAP. In this function, we start by creating a new H1 element for the slide title and add it to the slider title container. Then we split the title text into individual letters using the split text into span function so that each letter can be animated separately. Next, we start the starting position of the letters based on the direction of the slide transition. If we are moving to the next slide, the letters start lower on the page. If we are going to the previous slide, they start higher. We then animate the letters into view using GSAP, making them move smoothly into place with a slight stagger between each one to create a cascading effect. We also apply a custom easing function to give the animation a natural easing. Finally, we check if there is an old title still visible. If there is, we animate it out of the view and remove it from the DOM once the animation finishes. Next, we define a function to create each slide container dynamically. Based on the current slide's position, it adds an image to slide container and returns it for further use. To keep track of the active slide index, we create a helper function called getSlideIndex, which calculates the next slide index based on the current active one and the direction of the transition. Next, we have the updateCounter and highlight function. This updates the slide counter by setting its text content to the active slide index. It also highlights the current slide in the list by toggling the active item class on the corresponding paragraph element, giving the user a clear visual indicator of which slide is currently active. Then we have the updatePreviewImage function. This dynamically creates a new image element, sets its source and alt attributes to match the current slide, and then appends it to the preview section. Using GSAP, we animate the image's opacity from 0 to 1 for a smooth fade-in effect. After the new image is fully visible, we remove the previous image from the DOM to keep things tidy. Lastly, the animation slide function handles the movement of each slide. It animates the position and other properties of the slide using GSAP's do method, applying the custom hop-easing function. Additionally, the slide's image rotation is animated to match the overall motion of the slide, keeping everything visually aligned and smooth. Next, the transition slide function is responsible for handling the entire slide transition when moving between slides. We start by checking if animation is already in progress using the flag. If it is, the function returns early to prevent multiple transitions from running at once. If not, we set the flag to true, locking further animations until this one completes. Next, we determine whether the user is moving to the next or previous slide. Based on the direction, we assign the outgoing and incoming positions accordingly. We then grab the outgoing slide, the currently active slide, and the incoming slide from the DOM. Using the animateSlide function, we animate both the active slide moving out and the incoming slide moving into the active position, adjusting their positions and clip paths to create a sliding effect. We also animate the outgoing slide to scale down and fade out for a smooth exit. After that, we calculate the new slide index and create a new slide element based on that index. We set the initial properties for the new slide, placing it off-screen and hidden before animating it into view with GSAP. Once the transition is set in motion, we update the title, preview image, and slide counter to match the newly active slide. This ensures everything on the interface reflects the new content. Finally, after a short delay to let the animations play out, we clean up by removing the outgoing slide from the DOM and resetting the class names for the active and incoming slides. At the end of the transition, we reset the flag to allow the next transition to occur. Then, we add an event listener to the slider, so when a user clicks on any of the slide containers, we can detect which slide was clicked. Using the closeAt method, we ensure that the event targets the slide itself. If the clicked slide exists and no other animations are in progress, we trigger the transition slides function. Depending on whether the clicked slide is next or previous one, we call the function with the appropriate direction. Now, for the initial setup of the slider, we loop through the slide positions object and set the position and properties for each slide using GSAP. The active slide gets the open clip path, while the previous and next slides are assigned the closed clip path and set in their respective positions. Additionally, for the non-active slides, we rotate the image within the slide containers in the opposite direction of the slide container, just as an illusion to make it look like they are not rotating. We then grab the initial title from the active slide and use the split text into span function to break the title into individual letters so they can be animated separately. Next, we use GSAP to animate the title's letters from an initial offset of 60 pixels to their final position, creating a staggered entrance effect that gives a smooth and appealing animation. We also update the counter to reflect the active slide index and highlight the corresponding slide name in the list. Finally, we add click event listeners to each of the slide names in the slider item section. This allows users to click on a specific slide name to animate the direction to the slide. If the click name corresponds to a slide that's not currently active, we call transition slides in the appropriate direction, depending on the position of the selected slide relative to the active one. And that's it. Hope you found the video helpful. See you in the next one.